Something to move to?
Okay, let's go. Okay. Onegaishimasu. Okay, so we'll just loosen the body up a little bit. Alright, can I take the and going front and back. Side to side. Rotating the body. Working inside, outside. Okay, just working with the swing, so we'll just lean down first. Turning from the hips. Rocking your shoulders. Opening. Front to back. Forward. And the other side. And then just play with the arms freely. Just work these directions. Just let them move. Keep the feeling of the hand connecting through the ground. It's nice and loose, but heavy in the hand. Want just the right amount of focus in the hand. So you can work with both or just one. Nice and free. And there's one nice exercise you can use that's actually about this kind of the hands feeling like they're part of the ground, or feeling like the weight of the hands in the ground. It's actually really easy. So it involves closing the body first and then opening out. We've done it kind of before, but not quite this way. So what you do is you start down like this, You want to come from here, close the body towards itself. The hands come towards the center line. And then you just raise the hands up as you breathe in. So you reach up. And as you do this, you wind through the hands. They come up and out. So you come to this position here. And then you just let them spread out to the side and drop down. And then you close the body again. So you're closing the body fully. Opening, stretching up, really opened out here. And then let the weight sink down. Just really light exercise. So there's two things. The first thing to focus on is really the pathway to the ground. So feel that when you do this one, especially coming up, feel that feel that the fingertips actually the ground. So you want to feel this connection that the ground presses at the hand. I don't want their hands to kind of come up on their own. So just feel that coming up. I think of like a plant breaking through the soil. Up, and then right up. And then from here, feel that just the weight of the gravity draws the hands down. So it's not about pulling them down. Just let the weight drop through. So all the time feeling the ground through the hands. Out, down. So you close, up, and then you bring the hands away, and then down. Up, out, down, and then towards the body. Up, out, down, towards the body. And this is one of those exercises that's nice to do for a while. It's a very light exercise, so it's one that you can do for quite a long time, get a lot of repetitions from it. And these two things, drawing up from the ground, and then letting the weight sink the hands down. And then the other thing focus on is what you do is you can obviously do this just by drawing the hands up, drawing a circle, bringing the hands down, but feel that you also wind through the joints as well. So the closing is also with the knees, the elbows, the hands, the shoulders, everything's down closed, and then you wind it up this way, a little bit like doing a 𝒂𝒄𝒄 work, but not so much focus in it. You're just focusing on winding up through the joints. So do that, and then you wind them down also. So feel a kind of a winding or a coiling through the joints as you do it. And it's nice and light. It shouldn't be too. Yeah. Good. There we go. Nice. Good. There we go. Yeah. Good, and then you've got this way. You can also take this the other way. So you do the same, but you do the opposite. So you're down and you reach the hands out. So you're floating the hands up and then winding them back down this way. Actually, very similar to these swinging exercises. Then winding them. So you've got, again, feel that the hands really get floated up from this room. The center's also coming up. So this leads the hand. This, and then you just let them drain down. So again, you've got a big opening movement and then closing the body. Big opening, closing. And it's best really starting with a very exaggerated movement, especially in the hips. And then you can start to make it a little bit more condensed. Just start with a nice big movement. And you want the whole body involved. So every joint being drawn into the movement. There. There. There we go. That's it. Nice. Great. Good. And then what you can do is you just mix the two together, so you do one after the other. So you've got a closing, breathing in, dropping down, and then you reverse it, breathing in to the outside, closing, breathing out, and then again, reach in. Yeah. You just want to make it a little bit more circular now. So I just think now, not so much about reaching up, but about closing the body, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening. And don't worry if you get them kind of mixed up or you start to repeat the same one. Just to get the body. Keep it slow. Again, just to get this feeling that the hands are really integrated with the center. And that you really feel the ground in the hands. And you can also start to make it very small. The movement just becomes like this. It's like you're kind of describing a ball in front of you. Going through the center, drawing it out. Through the back, drawing through it. So think about drawing a circle and then cutting through it. Drawing a circle, cutting through it. There we go. That's it. Good. Very nice. Good. And then obviously you can really play with these, and there's some really kind of elaborate exercises from them, but there's a really simple one you can do just from the hand me, and just use the hand. So you've got two ways to use the arc. So you've got two circles. One draws towards the body and away, this way, and one draws into the body and then up and away. So you've got these two arcs. So you've got the same dynamic happening. Again, just feel that feel that the hand is really drawn with the foot. So you've got this drawing up and then away. So you've got basically four things of movement. You've got the vertical up and down, and you've got in terms of relationship to the body, away from the body and towards the body this way. So you've got kind of extension. We call extension and contraction with the body, but it's not so contracted like this. It's just towards the body this way. So just the first one is drawing up and then away, and then down towards the body, up and away. And you can leave the feet as they are, just shifting the weight, or you can shift the weight like we do in the first subversion, drawing up, away, away. The key joint here is the shoulder, letting the shoulder really release, especially as you go into the up. Try not to raise the shoulder up. Again, give that movement to the center line. And just keep it circular. You can do this really kind of, in a way, very rectangular. Out, down, towards, up, out, down, towards. But just go straight into a little bit more circular. Really feel where you're shifting the weight to. So when you're out and away, we're really affecting. The weight shifted. So very similar to these kind of exercises like poetry now. These kind of movements. In this case, much more circular. Drawing at the center line, pressing out. And you can do this both sides, the same. Keep the joints very soft. Again, just the right amount of focus in the hand. You don't want to be too kind of soft with the hand. And you don't want to be holding the joint. Just the right amount. And you should just feel that the ground is in the hand. So again, it's really a study of the pathway into the ground, and you always want the most direct pathway into the ground. So anytime that the shoulder's kind of coming out, you're going to break that pathway, or you're going to extend it beyond its reach or beyond your reach. So just keep it. This, so it's nice and soft. Very nice. Good. And then if you take this exercise, if you add a little bit more structure into it, you're looking at kind of these Aikido movements. So you're looking to come in, away, and then come into it. So you're basically coming into the extension now. You want to feel the same thing. So I don't want now the arm to take control and feel that the kind of tension in the arm is the main focus. So again, keep the weight is really in the hand from the ground. So again, this kind of feeling, this kind of feeling, this. So the focus is now on that part, out and away, but it's based again on that kind of pathway. So you draw it up and press it out, draw it up, press it out. Really get this sense that the whole limb is being controlled by the joint. And then the more you can feel that, the more you can kind of start to a little bit store it and press it out. A little bit store it, press it out. So you've got to kind of a little bit more of a focused feeling in the front. Good. Good. Good, and then just add a little bit more pressure to it. So from the other side, you just have the hand here. So don't grab it too much. It's just to add a kind of resistance a little bit. You can also do this with resistance bands as well, but just come in, and then especially now here, just feel that kind of moment. So you've got this, and there's also pressure here. So keep the same amount of pressure all the time. So what you're not trying to do is lose the pressure or press away from it. You're trying to basically test the structure all the time. So what you're looking, this is best done obviously with another person, but you can do it to yourself. What you're looking for is at every position, that pathway into the ground is really on. So the extension of, when we talk about the extension and connection with the joint, is basically connecting into the ground. And I never want to feel at any point that that pressure is actually taking me away from the ground. So just use that pressure to give you a little bit of feedback on where the ground is in terms of the structure. Lining into it. And you can make it very big. Make it small. And the other thing the hand's good for is you can feel it kind of winding into the contact with the ball. You should feel a constant kind of rotation through the contact. So it's not kind of stuck and I'm moving it. It's really kind of rolling through it. That's why it's best to keep a kind of open contact, an open hand. And you can do this both sides the same. There we go. so nice. Yeah, good. Great. Good, and then the other way you can do it is again rolling back. So the first one is like that, rolling away, and then you've got towards the body and rolling out. So again, keep it really, in a way you want to keep it nice and exaggerated. And we'll kind of narrow it down a little bit. So you've got that movement coming into the body, and this going out and away, down. It's going down and away, and then up towards the body, down and away, up towards the body. There. And again, just practice a little bit. You can shift the body, shift the foot, or you can just shift the weight. There. And again, both sides, nice, big, very circular. Again, really conscious of the ground being underneath the movement. There. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good. Yeah, and then again, if you just add a little bit more structure to it, you can do that. You can see a few techniques in this kind of movement. So you can think about kind of shihonage coming towards the body up and away. But in this case, just to make it kind of fully circular, I think about kind of uriminage coming here. So you've got this drawing into the body, and then here, come into this position. So now the focus is kind of in the same position there, that position from before, there, but it's got that position now. So you come into the body this way, and then let it roll through. So you've got out, into the body, out, drawing it back, out, drawing it back, out, drawing it back, out. And again, you've got this feeling when you're really kind of bowing the body, in this case, and then coming in this way, this way, this way. And especially here, really feel the ground path into the hand. So it's got a really kind of heavy sense in the hand without a feeling of the arm kind of extending too far out. So just, and then got a really kind of winding quality. So the whole thing's coiling through the system, and then that goes in, and that goes in, yeah, got it. Think about uriminage, tenshinage, all these kind of movements. Oh, this isn't even clear. This makes it totally clear. You go down, and then you just do this. So you're bringing it using the palm contact. This is what we use a lot. We use a lot, especially in weapon taking, coming up to the head this way. So this one makes a path really clear from the ground. So you've got this, and then just so that you press the body out. So it's got a little bit more explosive now. So don't worry about the kind of circling too much. You've got now like this. So it's got a really quality like the Joe work. You roll the body in, yeah, and then that way. So there's a kind of storing, and then release it. Storing, release it. And you can also think about striking work, but this just makes it very clear. You can do this. You can do this with the front foot. So just kind of going here, just adjusting in. You can also kind of roll in with the back foot in that way. Just again, feel that sense. You close the body down, and you open it, and you send that up in a way. I like these kind of tensionary movements, but this is very clear. So you've got a real sense of there. Drop there. Drop there. Drop there. Yeah, yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah. Yes, even though this one it looks a little bit more linear, keep that same feeling of kind of spiraling into it. So you've still got the sense that the joint's going to kind of wind and unwind. So it's kind of winding in or coiling in and then unwinding. So you've got like that. So the pathway is very clear. So it's the back foot to the front hand. So you're kind of that, and then it's shifting into the front foot. But the way you get there, in this case, is really a kind of unwinding of the structure. Unwinding of the structure. Especially now being really conscious of the shoulder coming out of the structure. So let it really sink down. So the reach up is really coming from the ground. It's really coming from the foot. The strange feeling is quite contained, but it's really expanded out from the structure. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Good. And then just to make it a little bit more focused as well, you're going to use the front hand right side forward, or you can do left or right, doesn't matter, but in this case, right foot, right hand. You're going to slide in and press the body down. So in this case, it's a strike down. We use this movement when we do a bokken taking, and you're going to basically hit for the backhand. So you're hitting the hand, and then what you do from here is rise that hand up. So you've got now a really clear movement. You've got a downward shift in, and then that pressure from the ground, press it in this way. So you've got to raise, sink, body's closed down, and then from here, open and expand it out this way. Don't worry too much about the backhand. In the weapons form, we're like here, taking the sword and coming up with it this way. But again, just keep this quality. It looks very linear now, but again, keep that same kind of quality that you wind in and through the structure. So you come in, sink the weight down, and then come out this way. In there. It should feel very heavy. Yeah. That's it.
Okie doke. Thank you very much, Mike.
Much. Enjoy.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, there's another little exercise you can do. If you imagine this idea of like storing is very easy. So it's like if you do it very locally, like just for the arm, it's like this. If you were to make like a punch or something, you kind of build it up here and then you release it. So you got like that. There's pressure against this, and then boom, it gets released. So you want that same feeling that you can do here with the triceps, like that. You want that whole feeling in the whole body. So you're trying to get the whole body to kind of store in and then release it. Store in and release it. And in this case, this very first movement really helps it. So you've got the body really coming into the ground and down. So here the idea is to kind of suppress the person's movement. So they've got a walk and they're in this position. You're really trying to prevent them from either raising it or coming to the side. So it's got a quality not only of striking the hand, but really of a feeling that is pressing down into it so that the structure won't be able to kind of come up. So you've got that pressure into it, and then just feel that gets released up. So you come down into it, and then feel that the whole body gets kind of sprung out. So again, it's not so much about the reach up or the striking with the hand. It's about this feeling of actually letting the whole body release through it. So it's like kind of finding a bow. You build up the tension, and then boom, you release it up. So you store into it, and then you come into it this way. You go into it, right, and then come into it. Just play with it. So there's lots of ways you can do it, and there's tons of techniques we do this when we're coming in and doing these kind of movements, coming in and doing these kind of movements. So we're constantly doing this, but a lot of the time we're doing it in movement. So it's quite difficult to find it. So especially these movements, we've got two very clear positions. This is very nice to kind of find it, work with it. So it goes in and away. But always keeping that kind of heavy quality. Goes that. That's it. That's it. Hello. Serena. There we go. Yeah. Good. Great, good. We'll do another which works on the other side. So again, it's like a kind of weapon taking technique, but it's like it's really a 𝒂𝒂𝒿. So what you do with this one, rather than sliding in and coming in with the hand, you're going to the outside. So what you do is with the front foot coiling this way. So you're doing this movement and you're getting the sword into this position. So I'm trying to show with the sword. So the sword's coming down here. You're going to the outside and you're drawing the sword into this position here. And then you're going to take the sword here and then use this hand to kind of come over and onto the head. It comes this way. So it's a 𝒂𝒂𝒿. So you've got the left, if you've got the left side forward, you go left, roll to the outside here. And then you're changing hands. The same hand that you come in with for the entry raises up and sinks down. Again, you've got the same feeling. So you roll in, store the body, and then release it out. So you go in, out. So it's really the same kind of exercise as this, but you're just doing it with the whole body now. So in movement and shifting the body as you do it. So really much more complex. And we tend to go with Aikido straight into these kind of movements, but there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be in place really before it. We train this kind of stuff with the weapons, so it's the same dynamics. Just really applied a bit more circularly, really in motion. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, and that big kind of 𝒂𝒂𝒿 work, again, it's a kind of extension on these kind of movements, but it's a variation because it's coming from the back, or it's going to the backside. So you got the same feeling, you close the body in, you raise up, and you go away. So these kind of circular patterns Again, the movement's based on the movement's not based on motion, it's based on connection. So you want the sensation that it's not that's doing it, but the structure that's winding through that movement. And you're only moving to pass through the other person's center line. So think of that motion as really as kind of static connection. But not static connection, but it's not based on the location of the body shifting in. So that kind of winding. And especially now with the shoulder, just watch that it doesn't take you out of the ground as you go. Wind in, wind out. Wind in, wind out. And then that way. There we go, yeah, nice. Nice. Good. Yeah. Nice. And just play with these two sides. So you've got left side, right side. Depending on which side you go, you can do both. But in this case, you've got the front foot sliding in, coming up. Or you've got sliding with a rotation, coiling in. So one's really based on a very kind of quite linear wedge in through. And the other one's really based in rotation work. So rotating, coiling in this way. And just play with them so you can do either side. This. And just play with them. And if anything else comes up, when you do them, just follow it as you go. All of them are based on the same fundamental ideas. Yeah. Oh, okay, good. Just take a bokken or a short jo. We're just going to work a little bit with this idea of working the same thing with Aikido. So just here. Okay, good. The first one really simple, just working with shomanuchi. So you've got, in this case, it's the left foot forward. You've got the bokken in the right hand. Yeah, and you just reach up with the shomanuchi. So you're shifting the whole body in and coming up. So again, you've got this same motion. This coming up. So you go here, here, into this position. And in this case, what you do is you reach it away, take it here, take the grip, press down, and step in. So it's a nice, simple movement. And really based on kind of wedging the body. So you come in, wedge out, take the grip, draw the body down through the bokken, and step in with it. So you've got a reaching up away, sliding it, pressing it down, and then taking a step through with it. Nice big step. It goes here. No way. Away. Away. Yeah, good. Yes, especially now this idea of anchoring the hand in the ground. Just feel like if you've got a bokken like this, you can also very gently kind of wedge it onto the hip. So I've got a very clear indication from basically the hand shouldn't move in a way where the sensor's not going, because that will basically split the sword away from the body. We'll split that connection essentially into the ground. So if the sword's just in contact with the hip, you want that kind of feeling. So it's like the hand shoots down this line, and then what you do is rather than that with the hand, you do that. So the whole body does that. That hand essentially stays in the same line. So it's not doing that away. That will basically lead to a kind of pushing motion, which can be resisted. You want to get that pathway and just alter it that way. And then from here, this is taking the grip, coming in, and then shifting it down. But you've got that kind of movement. That again, that's led by the center rather than the hands doing this. You just feel if you do like that, you know this is like localized movement, which is just limited in terms of power. So the more I can connect the movement into the ground, the center, the more power it's going to be able to take on. Obviously, it's got limits still, but the more I'm connected into the ground, the more the body's moving as one unit, the more power I can generate later. Just feel that. And then the main thing is from the beginning, really feeling like the ground is with the hand or in the hand. So right in the fingertips. Which is not really technical, it's something happening in the mind. But it's based on a physical connection. Yeah, nice. Nice. Good. And then just looking at the urawaza. So you've got the same connection. Always difficult with the urawaza to get that connection, keep that connection the same. So really key now what's happening with the footwork. So really take your time, find the feet, roll it down this way. You know, basic rotation. But with the hands really extend, it's very difficult. My tendency is either to pull the hands around or to twist and leave the hands where they are. So get in the feeling that the hands can connect together and rotate and keeping the weight. Very tricky to kind of get all the connections in place, but just take your time, work through them. Again, the hand and the body go together. Hand and the body go together, and then they cut it out this way. You can also try this just with one hand. Don't think about getting both hands. Just think about that lead hand. This is the key hand with the ikkyo, not the one that's on the elbow, but this one that leads out. So you've got this feeling that it raises up from the center and then cuts down. So it's really a kind of cutting movement. That. But it's really being led from the hips. That kind of feeling. And again, you just want to use the bokken as a kind of, just as a guide back into the body and the ground. That's it. There we go. Yeah, and the start of this is like locking the joint together or locking the connection together. So I've got the foot and the hand together and it goes with it. So it's together, it goes with it. And that's really just the start of it. So once you've got that connection very clear, just think about releasing it through the joint. So all the time that the joint stays in this kind of free, supple movement, even when it's extending out from the body. So I think about in terms of the weapon work, like these moments when we do these kind of movements, so everything needs to be supple through it, because what I don't do is lock it in and just rotate it. That's just a way to kind of get into it. But I feel that it's got a little bit more subtlety through the structure. So this is this. And again, it just comes back to these original exercises, this, even that one. So that kind of subtlety, that kind of quality, you want the same. You want the same here. The problem we've got is trying to add with the hands. And as soon as I do that, I pretty localize the power and just get the whole body. Just mix in now. Just play with like a mote, ura, or just play with whatever. Again, it's to train a quality, not a technique. So you're training really a connection through the whole structure, through the ground, and the techniques are kind of vehicle to train that. So. Good. Good. Yeah, in the last couple of minutes, just play with this. It's a little bit like the exercise where you take your own hand. So you've got like this. You can do the same with this kind of exercise. You've got some kind of pressure and you're just playing with it. Just playing with it, and you're just moving the body with it. Again, best done with another person or with a resistance band or something, not you, but you can do it also here. So you can do this also with the bokken. So you just want this feeling of a little bit of pressure into the sword or into the joint, and just play with this kind of connection. So there's a little bit of pressure that if I drop it will kind of come into the body. The other one you can play with is letting it go away, but that's a separate kind of skill. So in this case, feel that there's just a little bit of pressure towards the center. There, and just move with it. There, just move with it. So all these kind of techniques that we've got, from the ikkyo into the nikkyo, into sankyo, coming here, all these kind of movements involve a kind of connection in from that structure. So just play with it. So you can change hands as you do it, but just feel all the time that the bokken's kind of cutting back onto the body, and you're just taking the structure in a way to prevent it and to keep a kind of extension from the structure. And then if you like, you can take it into techniques. If you see them kind of coming in. There. There. Again, just feel the whole body rolls through it in a very supple way. There. There, 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 there. Yeah. There we go, nice. Nice. Great. Good. Okay, great. We'll stop there. So this is great kind of connection work that you can really train it anywhere. So you can kind of train it all day with doors, with fridges, with anything that you can kind of pull, push, apply weight to, or anything that applies pressure to you. So again, it's about kind of how you're applying the structure against pressure ultimately, which is hard to train when we're doing solo work, but there's ways you can approach it in a way that's kind of useful. So using bokkens or using resistance bands, or using other objects, or just imagining them that they're there. It's very useful to think about someone kind of pushing back into the structure all the time, or just applying a little bit of pressure. And we do these when we do like China Henko, where you've got kind of someone pulling, pushing, these kind of stuff. So these are really useful drills for really testing the structure and testing this pathway into the ground. So that's basically it. Okay, we'll have it. First, domo, arigato gozaimasu.
Domo.
Very much, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.